What's going on? It's your boy, Satch the Kid. The kid with the worst voice on the internet. And I'm moving my microphone a little closer because I don't know if it could pick up. But today, I'm basically going to be talking about my worst injury because I have no idea what else I can talk about. So, yeah. I made a video recently, or kind of recently, about my second worst injury, which was bad in itself. But this, while yes, it's grosser, so it may not be a good thing, I still think it's story worthy. So if you have a weak gag reflex or you don't like hearing really gross injury stuff, I'd click off this video, but I don't know, it could be entertaining. So here, I'm gonna turn my light off. There we go. But basically, this starts because I'm in ROTC, right? Or I was. I'm not anymore. But I was in ROTC last year, and we get uniforms in ROTC. We got the ACUs, which are the camouflage ones, which, honestly, say what you want about, like, army stuff, the pants are comfy as shit. They're actually in my closet right now, and they're comfy as hell. So, anyway, we were moving the giant boxes with them, and the boxes were heavy. And originally we would carry them, like, you know, individually, which were heavy in itself. And the only I'd stop, partially because it was heavy, but also because it'd be sitting on, like, my belt, or where my belt would be if I had a belt, like on the little, like, on the edge, like, top edge of my pants, right? That's kind of where it was sitting, and it was pulling my pants down. And I was like, no, don't do this. This is a bad idea. Like, this is gonna pull my pants down, so I was just gonna carry it. That's how the first day went. Is we just carried them, and then, you know, I went to lunch because lunch was after ROTC for me. And then we get there's more boxes. We get more boxes with more pieces of clothing in them. So instead of carrying them individually, we carry some of them individually because they're light enough, but we get a pallet jack, or like one of those things where it's like the two wheels you steer with. They're like two wheels that are about like 6 or 7 inches apart. So like the front two wheels are really close to each other, and the back wheels are like way apart. So I'm steering this thing, I'm the one pulling it, and they're like, you know, someone else do it so you don't fuck your foot up, or like fuck your legs or something, or mess yourself up. And I'm like, no, I got it. I should have let someone else do it, because it sucked really, really badly. Like, it wasn't super duper bad, because, I mean, I forget I said that, actually. It was pretty bad. But, we're moving the stuff, and I'm told, you know, let someone else do it. You're not doing so good at it. I'm like, no, I'm doing fine at it, because I guess I thought I was. But, I'm sitting there, pushing this, or not pushing it, I'm pulling it, and we go down this little slope, and it catches speed, and I'm trying to stop it, and I accidentally turn it towards my foot, and my foot goes in between both the, like, front wheels that you use to turn the thing, which again are like, they're barely, like, they're not as wide as my feet are. They're just a tiny bit smaller. Like, if I move my foot around, I could get my foot out of it, but like, it catches my foot in it, and my foot like kind of curls up. Like, my toes curl up and like up, not down like the normal way, but like curl up, and my foot does. And I'm like looking, I'm like, well, shit. Because at that moment, it didn't really necessarily hurt. I didn't feel anything. I mean, yeah, it kind of hurt. It felt like something scratched me, but I was like, oh shit, that's not good. So I pull my foot out, and I limp to the bathroom because my foot is sore. And the first sergeant, our teacher, was like, you know, go look at that, and if it's bad, come back and we'll send you to the nurse's office. So I'm like, alright, I'll be right back then. And I think nothing of it. I think, oh, well, if my foot's bleeding, it's because I scratched my foot. And I get to the bathroom, and I'm sitting there, and I take my shoe off, and there's blood around my toe, like my big toe. And I'm like, oh shit, that isn't good. I take my sock off, and there's blood. I didn't cut my foot, but I like messed up my foot enough to where it bruised the shit out of my foot. So there's that. But this is the really gross part, and if you don't want to hear it, then I'd suggest not listening because it's really gross. But I take my sock off, and this is on my left foot, by the way. I should clarify. I'm happy it was my left foot, not my right foot. So I take my sock off, and I'm like sitting there like, fuck. There's blood around where my toe should, like where my toe is. Like, you know, this isn't good. This is not gonna be good. So when I take my sock off, my entire toenail looks white, and I check to see if it's white, and I check to see if like it's lifted or anything. So I push down on it, and I see blood move around under the toenail. I'm like, oh shit, my toenail is like half off of my toe. So I'm like, fuck. And I start walking back to the ROTC room, and they're already going to get more of the boxes, and I'm holding my shoe and my sock in one hand, and my foot's just covered, like not covered, but my toe and part of my foot has blood on it, and there's a little bit of blood, like, you know, like being tracked onto the floor. Like, and I'm like, First Sergeant, because at this moment, the pain didn't register. Like, it didn't register, like, how painful it was in my brain. I was still like, oh shit, this is bad. Like, you know, I wasn't reacting to it. So I go, and First Sergeant's walking down. He's like, is he finding anything out? Looks down. He's like, you need to go to the nurse's office. I'm like, all right, I'll go there. So I limp over there barefoot, or half barefoot, and I'm like, hey, I messed up my foot, and messed up my toe, and it's bleeding, and it looks really bad. And they're like, alright, what's the oh shit, that's not good. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I said. And I shit you not, this is like, typically nurses don't like cursing, or from my experience they try not to curse. This nurse said, oh shit, you are like, that's bad. Like, word for word said, oh shit, that's bad. And I'm like, huh? Oh, if the nurse is saying that's bad, then that means it's bad. That means typically whenever a nurse like gets on to you, it's to put ice on it. Not that, oh shit, it's bad. So I'm like, oh, fuck. So they sit me down, and they put water and like to clean it out, right? And my toenail is like lifted maybe like a quarter, like the size of like a quarter, not like the diameter, but like the size, like the thickness of a quarter. And I'm like, huh, shit. And it's like, I learned that half of it's like all the stuff that connects it to the toenail is off. All of the part under it is off. The only thing connecting it is one side of it's still connected to my toe. Like one side, like half is connected to my toe. I was like, which, this is when it started hurting. And it didn't start stinging or well, it started stinging a little bit when they put the water in, but like, it was sore as hell. And me being grossed out, I'm not as grossed out as I was. That kind of, you know, made me get less grossed out at shit like this. But like me being so grossed out about it, I was just having a field day. I was barely conscious. I'm not even kidding. I almost passed out in the nurse's office. And I look at me, you know, are you hot? Are you cold? I was like, nah, I'm just fucking hot. It's hot as hell in here. They're like, breathe normally, in through your nose, out through your mouth. I was like, okay. And like stuff was like starting to kind of black out and turn fuzzy. And it gets better. Like, you know, I didn't end up blacking out. I just ended up sitting there like, like fuck. I feel like basically that feeling when you have no sleep and you're kind of dizzy. So I'm sitting there, and they clean it out and they wrap it in a bandage, and they're like, we're gonna get your sock on and put another sock on over it. Or like, they're like, we're gonna put your sock on, and if your shoe doesn't fit, we'll put another layer of socks on so it acts as a shoe. but like you can't be walking around school. You're going home. I was like, oh shit. Okay. So like I'm like sitting there and I'm just like, alright, I get to go home at least. And the pain is like still there, but it starts getting worse. Every time I move, I'm just like, ah, and I jump. I'm like, oh shit, that hurts. And I get home, or my dad picks me up. He's like, what happened? I was like, I jammed my foot in a pallet jack. I didn't know it was a pallet jack, so I said like one of those loading things for like mail or boxes and shit. Like I jammed it in between that. He's like, all right. So I get my shit and I go home. Or no, we go to McDonald's first. He's like talking to me. He's like, yeah, I've never broken off a toenail or almost broken off a toenail, but it takes a long time for those to grow back. Cause like he's like, I cracked mine once while moving a couch, and it took so long to grow back. I was like, oh well, shit, this is gonna suck. So we get McDonald's and I'm sitting there, and like in 2 weeks we had to go to dinner, and like I'm like, it'll be fine by then. I'm not grown back, but it'll feel better. And it hurt for a long time. Literally that entire day, I did nothing because every time I would move, it hurt like hell. So like I'm sitting there like, oh fuck. So I just sat on the couch, and like anytime I'd have to get up and move, I would just hop. I'd hop and grab onto things and only walk with one leg. So the next day of school comes, and I'm barely able to walk in, and I end up wearing a shoe on one foot and just wearing the socks on, like 2 or 3 socks on the other foot, because I can't put a shoe on that foot because none of my shoes fit. Like, and I'm sitting there like, this is gonna suck for the rest of the day. And I'm basically using my ex-girlfriend, who I was with at the time, like kind of as a crutch. Like she'd basically like hold me while I'm walking to make sure I don't fall over. But like I'm like sitting there like all day, and I'm like asking the teachers, can I sit at like the back or like sit where there's no seats, because I'm gonna end up fucking up my foot if I hit anything even remotely. So like, can I? And they're like, yeah, go for it, don't worry about it. And yeah, so like I'm sitting there like I'm sitting there and I'm just like, oh fuck, this sucks. And it did get better, and like I've had to rebandage it to keep the thumbnail or the toenail from like accidentally breaking off. But soon it'll be fully grown back, and I'll be able to do that again. But yeah, and like it kind of sucked because it came right before soccer tryouts, and already like a year ago I missed soccer tryouts because I've messed up my arm. Actually, every time I miss soccer tryouts, it's either been because I wasn't informed or because I've injured myself, or both. But yeah, so that was it. That was my worst injury I've ever had. And yeah, so before I end this, my meme page hit 700 followers earlier today, and like yet last night it hit, or like last night it hit 600, and then tonight it hit, or not tonight, today it hit 700. So like that's fucking crazy. And my YouTube channel will probably soon, probably within the next couple weeks, if it keeps growing like this, be linked to that account. So maybe at this time there may be like a boom, or a slight one, not a big one, but like a slight boom. So yeah, and I'm probably not gonna be able to upload as much, not because I don't wanna, but because like my brother got a job and I have to fix my sleeping schedule, and yeah, I'll still upload mostly daily, but like I'll miss sometimes. That, and good news, it's just good news. I don't know who, some people may interpret it as bad news if they actually like my channel, the one person who probably actually does. But another reason I may not upload as much is because I may be getting a job soon, which wouldn't really I don't think it affected too terribly, but it'd make it a little more time consuming. But yeah, so yeah, if you enjoyed, I guess, because this is the end, I guess. If you enjoyed, then subscribe and whatnot and bullshit like that. But yeah, um, that's it from me. I don't know how else. I don't know how I'm gonna end this exactly. But yeah. So I hope you enjoyed. If you sat through this and managed to get through my entire terrible voice, then I applaud you. Good job. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.